The sound of footsteps echoing down a busy city street is perhaps one of the most common occurrences in our daily lives. We hear it everywhere we go. But have you ever stopped to think about the stories behind those footsteps? Who is walking there and why? What are they thinking about and feeling? Are they happy, sad, lonely, or free? Today, let us take a moment to appreciate the beauty of human existence as we explore the unspoken narratives that unfold before our very eyes. Our story begins on a bustling city street where we meet two elderly gentlemen. The first man walks slowly with the aid of a cane, his eyes fixed on the ground, seemingly oblivious to the world around him. The second man, well-dressed and composed, strides confidently, his gaze directed forward with a purpose. Their paths cross at a corner and the well-dressed man steps aside to let the elderly gentleman pass. However, in a moment of clumsiness, the old man stumbles and drops his groceries, scattering cans and fruits across the pavement. The well-dressed man, instead of offering assistance, continues on his way without a word. Just then, a young man carrying a backpack approaches the old man who sits dejected amidst the mess. He kneels down to help pick up the scattered items, offering words of comfort and support. Together, they gather the belongings, and the young man even offers to carry some of the old man's packages, refusing payment. As they continue walking, it becomes apparent that the old man resides in a care facility while the young man, touched by the experience, decides to assist an elderly woman struggling with her groceries. Meanwhile, on a crowded city bus, a mother with a sleeping baby finds herself surrounded by noisy passengers. Despite the commotion, the baby suddenly wakes up and begins crying, adding to the cacophony. The mother tries her best to soothe the child, but the noise makes it difficult for both her and the baby. Another passenger, initially annoyed, eventually offers a comforting smile, acknowledging the situation. As the bus journey continues, a young boy on the same bus observes a homeless man on the street through the window. Curious, he asks his mother about the man's living conditions. She explains that he has no home and receives no help from others. The boy, moved by compassion, decides to share his lunch with the homeless person. However, when he gets off the bus, he hesitates, unsure how to approach the situation. Just then, another man steps off the bus and without any hesitation, walks up to the homeless man, hands over some money and disappears into the crowd. The homeless man, surprised, looks at the money and then back at the departing man. As the day progresses, we encounter more stories. In a school corridor, a teenage boy walks confidently until he is confronted by a group of older students. They mock and shove him, causing him to stumble. Despite their taunts, he remains composed and continues walking. Soon after, the boy enters a classroom and takes a seat. To his surprise, his classmates, the very same ones who had mocked him earlier, suddenly become friendly, asking about his well-being and offering assistance. One of them even lends him a jacket. Confused, the boy accepts the gesture. In another part of the city, a young woman walks along a pathway near a lake. She appears engrossed in her thoughts, unaware of her surroundings. Suddenly, she spots a homeless man sleeping rough nearby and stops to observe him. For a moment, she considers approaching him, but ultimately walks away without interacting. A short while later, she comes across a food cart and purchases a hot dog, which she proceeds to eat while continuing her walk. Our attention shifts to a different part of the city where we see a young man sitting alone at a bus stop. He seems lost in thought, gazing into the distance. A woman pushing a stroller approaches him and kindly asks if everything is all right. Concerned by his demeanor, she offers him water. Touched by her gesture, he thanks her and mentions that he is waiting for someone who may never arrive. The woman, empathizing with his situation, suggests that sometimes it's better not to wait for people who don't care about our presence. She encourages him to move on and find happiness elsewhere. Her words resonate with him and he acknowledges the wisdom in her advice. At a local supermarket, an elderly couple shops for groceries. The woman places various items into the shopping cart while the man patiently waits by their parked car. As they approach the checkout, they notice a young mother struggling to manage her groceries and two children. Concerned, the elderly woman offers to pay for the mother's items, demonstrating kindness and generosity. As the sun sets, casting long shadows across the city, we return to the homeless man from earlier. He is still in the same spot, this time with an empty stomach. People pass by, some offering food, others simply walking past. Suddenly, a young girl with pigtails approaches him and hands over a piece of bread from her own meal. Overwhelmed with emotion, the man thanks her profusely, realizing the depth of her compassion. As darkness falls, the city lights twinkle, creating a magical atmosphere. The young man from the beginning of the story is now in a different part of the city. Instead of heading home, he goes to a nearby park. There, under the cover of darkness, we discover that he is the one who had approached the elderly gentleman earlier. It is revealed that he has been caring for the old man for some time and visits him regularly. Their bond is evident as they share a quiet moment together. Meanwhile, the young woman who had seen the homeless man earlier returns to the same spot by the lake. She is now joined by a friend. They talk about the homeless person, with the young woman expressing a desire to help. Her friend, however, is less enthusiastic, suggesting that it wouldn't make a difference and might even encourage the man to continue begging. Back at the park, the young man prepares to leave when he notices a family approaching. The parents urge their young son to be brave and go say hello to the homeless man. The boy, initially hesitant, gathers his courage and does as his parents say. To his surprise, the homeless man breaks into a wide smile, his face beaming with joy. The boy, pleased with himself, runs back to his parents, proud of his act of kindness. Over time, the young man grows older, but his commitment to helping the homeless man doesn't waver. Years pass and the once young man is now a grown adult. However, he still faithfully visits the homeless man, bringing him food and offering companionship. The sight of the old man sitting alone in the park touches the hearts of those around him. Then one day, the old man passes away peacefully in the park. People gather round, saddened by the loss. The young man, overcome with grief, holds the old man's hand, cherishing the last moments. Many years later, the grown-up young man is now quite old himself. Yet he can still be found sitting in the same park, sharing his memories of the elderly gentleman. He reflects on their unique bond and the profound impact the old man had on his life. As the story reaches its conclusion, a voice narrates the following. When we talk about love, we often think of romantic love, the kind that fills us with excitement, passion, and butterflies in the stomach. However, true love isn't limited to this one aspect of our lives. It encompasses a much broader spectrum of human emotions and connections. True love isn't just what you feel. It's what you give. It's how we carry each other through life. And with that, the screen fades to black. And that's all for today. Thanks so much for watching and see you in the next video.